want to, in a way, play a bit of. I don't get me wrong. I disagree with what he said, but I can understand the mindset. And since obviously the interview was these comments was resurfaced, obviously I think last week. I've had a number of discussions with both my male and female friends in terms of what they think about what he said. Interestingly enough, a number of women find obviously these comments disgusting, deplorable, and how can you say such a thing? Whereas amongst a number of men, both Muslim and non-Muslim, some didn't feel no issue with what he said, and some actually even agreed with him. And I will try and explain their rationale of why they think that what he said was okay, because the way they understood it, the way they articulated themselves was, for example, as a man, obviously he's a wealthy man, he's a music producer, he's a multimillionaire, and again, for a lot of men, he can get not any woman he wants, but a number of women. So the way a lot of guys rationalize it in the way they articulated it to me was, he can get any woman that he likes. The woman that his current wife, she should be pleased to be with him because of what he brings to the table in terms of financial stability, luxurious lifestyle. Again, I'm not saying I agree with this, but this is how.
Keep going. Just keep going. It's fine.
So how they look at it is like, if I'm giving you a luxurious lifestyle, you're able to live, like a queen, or like a princess. And even what I bring to the table in terms of in the bedroom, if it's B minus, for example, so I'm fulfilling my duties every now and again, but I'm not going down on you. So I'm not a real master in the bedroom. So I'm not fulfilling all of the things I could be doing for you. But overall, when you look at, I'm giving you A plus lifestyle plus even if I'm a B minus or even a C in the bedroom, it's only fair if you're like A plus in the bedroom. That's how some men understand it. They don't look at it like it's unfair, because again, like I said, they will look at like he's bringing more to the table because he is in a position in which that he, as much as some women might look at it and say he's not attractive and things like that. That's subjective. And the reality is, when you're famous and powerful, you do have a lot of women, attractive women, who have flocked to him. I'm sure that's the case. So the way he might look at it and the way he might understand it is that this is I'm speaking specifically about his wife, but what he's doing, what he's providing for his wife, a lot of women would love that. So that's why he mentioned, the way he praises her is, how are you enjoying the foods? Are you enjoying the house that you're living in? Are you enjoying all of these material things? Because he might be surrounded by a lot of material women who that's what they desire. So as far as in his mind, if I'm fulfilling those desires, which again, not all women, but some women that he might be accustomed to, and that's also we have to take into consideration that he's a music producer that's been in the music industry for the last 15, 20 years. And we know the music industry is there's a lot of shallow people around, and even his interactions with a number of women, if, for example, of the women he's coming across are very shallow, materialistic, then in his mind, as long as he's providing a woman with the material needs that she desires, he's fulfilling her desire. So therefore, how could she compensate him? And if he wants extra, shall we say, special attention, like oral stimulation, he might think that he's well within his regards to receive that. But in terms of the other way around, and again, some men do not equate cunnilingus with fellatio. So some men are like, okay, for a woman to give me fellatio, it's fine. Whereas for me to perform cunnilingus, I'm not going to do it because some men think it's unhygienic. Again, I don't agree with this. I'm just, again, explaining the mentality of a number of men who agree with that type of what Khaled was saying. There's some taboos, like he did mention, it wasn't in the snippet, but he did mention that that's not something that I do. Like, maybe something culturally where he's from. Obviously, we know he's of Palestinian origin, and as well, a number of Arabs do not think that even for a woman to perform fellatio is acceptable, or a man to perform cunnilingus. So, and also he did mention that I might as well be Jamaican. We don't do that, and obviously being from the UK, and we've got a large Jamaican community. A lot of Jamaican men will say similar to what Khaled said, that they wouldn't perform cunnilingus because you're known as a bowl cat and it's seen as a deplorable thing for a man to do such an act. But for a woman to provide a similar,
a ball cat. What's a ball cat?
Bowl cat, BOWCAT. So that's like, a bowl cat is a man who performs cunnilingus, and amongst a lot,
there's a slur attached to it.
It's a slur, yeah. It's something that even for me growing up, it was, you wouldn't want to be seen as a bowl cat, and people would say things like, if a man's got pink lips, it's because you've been eaten out, so therefore you should stop doing that. So it wasn't something that people took pride in. No, honestly,
no,
sorry.
such a trip.
But my point,
No, I understand. I'm just like, better such a trip. Are these Muslim men that are saying these things?
They still carry, and also just the last thing I'd like to say before you continue is that we also have to understand, again, from a number of Jamaicans as well, the reason why some people are against a man performing oral stimulation on his female partner is because they believe it's a form of sodomy. Now, under the original understanding in Christianity of sodomy, it includes both anal intercourse as well as oral stimulation. Obviously, from the Islamic perspective, we look at sodomy just being anal intercourse. But if you've got the understanding that when they look at, for example, the Bible and it speaks against sodomy, their understanding for a number of Christians, it includes both anal intercourse as well as whether it's cunnilingus or fellatio. So again, I can understand why some men have these hang-ups, but what I think was very problematic with what Khaled said was the double standards, the sexual double standards, that she, not only did he say that he expects her to do it, there's some things that are like there's different rules for men and women. I think that's, if he articulated himself better, I don't think people might have, he definitely wouldn't have received such an outrage. Again, if he said that I'm not comfortable doing this, but if my wife wants to do that, then that's fine. I don't think there'll be much outrage, but I think it's just the way it was like he expects his wife to fulfill these needs for him, but he's not going to reciprocate. And I think that's where there's a big issue, because I think a lot of men, we look at our pleasure as more important than the female pleasure. And that's because we don't have many discussions about female sexuality and female pleasure. So for a lot of men's understanding, as long as he's, again, fulfilling her material needs in terms of buying her a nice house, jewelry, clothes, and this, that, and the other, she should be pleased that he's fulfilling his duties in the bedroom without trying to, go into bit. So I'll let you finish, because I'll let you continue, because I've been speaking quite long now.
No, it's fine. I just think I know that he did not say in the clip that, oh, he didn't do it because he was Muslim. But when you have someone with such notoriety and such a large platform, it definitely will carry over into different realms, different social spheres. And it definitely carried over into the Muslim social sphere, because you're saying to me that there are Muslim men that are saying, what was wrong with what he said. It's okay. It's perfectly okay with what he said. The whole idea is that I'm providing materially, and because I provide materially, then your agency as a partner in this relationship is diminished. Okay. Because I'm the one that provides materially, which is anti-ethical with Islamic teachings, but it's something that exists in Muslim culture. And he has identified as a practice of, I think he said in one interview, a devout Muslim. And so it's definitely going to carry over. Muslims who see him are going to see him saying that stuff as a Muslim male. And unfortunately, it's something that is, from what you're saying, is common among Muslim men. And here's the problem with that. Okay.
Sorry, can I just interject?
Yeah.
Can I just read the tweet of a Muslim? I think it's a Muslim, and it's going to agree with basically what you said. The person said, Khalid has to say this. He is a Muslim. Because of his stature, he cannot publicly announce that he actually gives head, i.e. performs cunnilingus. In his world, the mouth and tongue are used for recitation of the Quran and for the remembrance of Allah. That is the Islamic way.
Yeah, but Muslim women recite Quran too.
Exactly. No, exactly, and that's the point. It's this person. There's a number of men who think this way, that it's not allowed because, and we speak about the Islamic position with regards to oral stimulation, but he was saying that Khalid has to say this because, again, oral stimulation is against Islam, but he didn't say anything about his wife performing oral sex on him.
Exactly.
And again, it's double standards. That's why even we need to challenge. And before we continue, I just want to commend you for organizing this and having this discussion, because I think it's important, especially as a Muslim woman, that you're spearheading this, because again, I'm sure that many people that's listening, I definitely am one of those people, are grateful for what you're doing. I think it's important that not only Muslim men, but Muslim women in particular, continue to have these conversations. And when we as Muslim men, we say some things which are, which is wrong and disrespectful, again, that we need to be checked, you need to challenge us. I just want to publicly commend you for what you're doing, and just
Oh,
hope, inshallah, just encourage you to continue doing this type of kind of conversations, because it's much needed.